You already ate and are perhaps uncomfortably full, and you promised yourself you wouldn't, but here you are. You have a fresh bag of snacks or extra piece of pie. Maybe went back for thirds for those mashed potatoes, right? It's just one more failure. So you ask yourself, is there anything? Anything that will stop this vicious cycle of promise, failure, promise. Yes, there is a very, very specific technique you've probably never heard of. And in this video, I'll teach you what it is and how to do it. But first, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Jason Stanley, a social research scientist, and I'm here to help you understand and heal that unrelenting urge to eat when you're not hungry and to continue eating far, sometimes way far past full. Now, we call that urge the food monster. Now, personally, I battled obesity and overweight with my own food monster for decades. So, yeah, I've been where you are now. Now, my job is giving you freedom from your food monster. Now, as promised, by the end of this video, you will know what the technique is and how to do it to stop your emotional eating in its tracks. Now, please be patient as I explain why all the tricks and tips that you've learned over the years didn't work, and they don't work. So, well, maybe I'm being a little too harsh here. Sometimes they work for a quick minute. Then they quit working. That's really it with everything. It works for a minute, but then it quits working. Now, bottom line, tips and tricks and diets, etc., eventually always rely on willpower. How? Well, tell me, does this sound familiar? You do the tip or the trick or whatever it is you've been taught, and yeah, it's better, but it doesn't make that little niggling urge go away. Now, you know that urge well. It's not overwhelming. It's not like a crisis. It's more like a little annoying, very annoying buzzing insect, kind of like a bee that got into the room with you, or maybe a constantly yip, 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 yip little dog that just won't shut up. Now, eventually, you start paying attention to that little nagging feeling. And gradually, that may take minutes, it may take a little longer, it becomes the most important thing on your mind. You fight it, and screw it, you get something to eat. Now, that's your food monster at work. So you got to ask, what is your food monster? What is that annoying, buzzing bee in the room or the yipping dog? What is it that's in your brain? Well, it's a highway in your brain that was developed during your childhood, in the formative years of childhood. When we say formative, we're talking about the development of the physical brain that takes you from any type or any level of stress. Now, any type of stress or anxiety, it takes you from that place to eating for emotional comfort and safety. So hang on, please, bear with me. Be honest. How often during each day can you say you do not have any stress? You're totally zen. How often in any day? Today. Even just the tiniest bit of concern? Now, for you, your brain is wired to take you from feeling any anxiety, from big stuff to little stuff, to the comfort and safety through eating. Now, other people respond differently to that anxiety. Depends on how their brain was wired during their developmental childhood years. Now, generally speaking, this wiring in your brain is permanent, but it's wiring. It's not your willpower. It's not your consciousness. It's not good or bad person. It's wiring in the physical brain. But there is a very specialized technique that can change that wiring. That change can be in the moment relief or with extra work. Obviously, it takes a lot of extra work. It can be permanent. It can permanently remove that highway in your brain so that anxiety doesn't take you to eating for comfort. Today, we're going to focus on the in the moment relief. We don't have time to do all the others. But first, I need your help and have a big favor to ask. If you feel there's value in these videos, please tap the like button and subscribe. Now, back to our content. This is not a tip or a trick to help you control your urge. That's what everything else is working on, is giving you control, getting you to take back control. We are not trying to control it. We're trying to calm it down, relieve it, eventually even remove it. Now, it is the basis of scientifically proven therapy that has been proven in a 3-year clinical trial. The therapy I'm talking about in obesity, that 3-year clinical trial was in obesity, is havening techniques. Just like any therapy, in havening, there are many specialized procedures that apply to special needs. So different havening procedures use different aspects for, in this case, your food monster highway, because the highway has different things. So today we're going to cover the basic procedure of havening and the specific process that deals with emotional eating in the moment. Okay, so some important points. This is something you can do at home, safety and comfort of room, or you can also do it in the office or wherever you happen to be, but you don't need your counselor there. So let's take a look at what's going on. Well, one, havening touch. What is that? Well, havening touch, it's part of the havening techniques therapy, havening touch. There are special places on your body with very specialized skin that when rubbed causes your brain to calm down and relax. And it introduces a very slow healing, very slow healing brainwave. Okay, that it's science. This is not religion or meditation or something that may be kind of not really provable. This is not like, say, some of the Eastern medicines that are built on the meridian system, which we can't scientifically replicate. I'm not saying those things don't work. I'm just saying this is something that can easily be replicated over and over and over in any scientific lab. So I said there's very specific places, kinds of skin, right? So just before we get into this, which ones, I want you to do me a favor. Hold up your hand where you can see it and look at, literally do this, look at the skin on the palm of your hand. Then look at the back of the hand, the back of your hand. You notice it's very different. The skin is different. Even if you're very young, this skin has a different texture than this skin. For one thing, even if you're a woman, there are hair follicles. Now, you may have really, really, really tiny, 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 tiny little hairs on the back of your hand, unlike most men have quite a, obvious hair, but those follicles are there and that little tiny fuzz. So that's just one way. That's not a key element, but it's something that you can see to go, oh, yeah, they're very different like that. And so that skin will respond differently to touch than this skin will. You may not be able to feel it, but there are different nerve endings in this kind of skin than there is on this. So let's take a look at where else other than our hand has that same kind of a differentiation. Well, on the face, we have the forehead, right, which is this area here. And when this is stimulated, it creates that special kind of delta wave, that brain wave in the brain. Above the cheekbones on the cheeks, above the cheekbones, not down here. And again, just like the backs of your hands, it's easy to see on men, but women have this too, is there's hair down here. So if you remember when your mom would hold you by your face, or you see mothers doing this, and it's like a mother's touch. It's just, it makes you feel so good. But this is holding on to mostly this kind of skin that doesn't really change the brain. It feels delightful, but it doesn't have an impact in creating this very slow, comfortable, relaxing brainwave. Rubbing up here does. Rubbing up here does. And on the arms. Now, again, women, kind of hard to really see this, but for men, especially men that have a lot of body hair, if they rub the outside of their arm, you can see there's no hair. Okay, there's no hair, so rubbing the outside of your arms from the shoulders, get above my mic, from the shoulders down to the elbows, right? So it's the same on men as it is on women, from the shoulders to that. Now you're rubbing on the outside edge, where if you're a man, or maybe you have a man in your life, you can say, hey, come here, let me look at your arm. And you look at their arm and there's no hair right there. Whereas on the back of the hair, on the back of the arm, there's often hair. So you're rubbing from the shoulder all the way down, picking up off of the arm back to the shoulder. So it's kind of an oval that you're making. And do it both at the same time, or if that's uncomfortable, you can just switch and go from side to side. And the third place is the hands, which we've already talked about. So it doesn't matter how you do it. It can be this way or that way. Those are the areas which you stimulate. Now, this again is science. We've done this in the lab. I say we, American professors who I've never met, but I've read their research, have done this in the labs. And now, that's the physical touch. It is a necessary aspect, but it's only one of two parts. Now, there are two parts. So the havening touch, the physical touch, is the one thing, okay? And then the other part is you have to activate your highway. Now, the good news is it's easy. I mean, it's really easy because in your case, that highway was already activated when you thought about eating something extra, right? You're sitting there and it's after dinner and you say, I've already had a piece of pie. I'm not going to have any more. That's it. I really like some. Or you're watching that TV in a movie and you're going, click, you turn the pause on and you want to get up and go get something to eat. Set your snacks or get a bowl of whatever it is. That thought is already there. So now what I want you to do is pay attention to how you feel with that thought. Now, maybe something small, really small. Let me identify. I feel a little anxious, maybe a little antsy or fidgety, right? Or it may be big. I really want it. It's important to have it. Well, whichever way that is, and that's probably a continuum. We've all experienced it one way or the other, right? Well, tell yourself, I feel. Now, do this with me right now, please. So you're doing your havening touch, right? You're doing your havening touch. You're rubbing your face, right? Forehead, cheeks above the cheekbones, up and down from the shoulder down to the elbow on the arms, right? And you're saying, I feel like I want some more pie. I feel like I want to get up and get some snacks. I feel, if I make myself sit here, I feel a little anxious. If I don't get up and get the snacks, I'm a little antsy. So you focus on what you're actually feeling. If you can, identify the emotion. You identify the emotion. I feel nervous. I feel anxiety. I feel an absolute desire, whatever's going on. So you do this for about 3 or 4 minutes. That's maximum. It can be 2 minutes. So let's say you're watching the movie when you're feeling like you're going to get up and get some snacks. So you just kind of watch it. You can even pause the movie if you want, or keep watching. Either way. And I'd like to have some I want to get up and get something. I want to get up and get a bag of chips, or I want to get up and get a bowl of ice cream, whatever it is that you like. And I've got some hard candy in there. I want to get up and get that candy. That sounds really, really good. I want that candy. I'm a little. I desire it. I'm a little anxious. What am I feeling? Oh, I'm excited because this part of the movie's here, and I want to get up. Okay, so you're doing that, right? Just a couple of minutes, and then stop and go back to the movie. Just if you pause it, hit play and go back. Or if you're at work, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just return to what that was. And without really focusing on it, just come back out. You go back to it, and then a minute or 2 or 3 minutes later, you kind of check in to see if you actually kind of forgot about wanting to get up and get something extra. That extra piece of pie, you just wound up going back to the conversation that was at the table. And so you don't reach for that second piece of pie. Now, if the feeling is still there after a minute or two, you're just kind of checking in, do it again for just 2 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. If there's a trick to it at all, the biggest trick is actually remembering to do it. Now, I say that's a trick because, look, your brain is amazingly clever. You may say, but I'm not a clever person. Yeah, your brain is really clever, and it will trick you into not doing what it wants you to do. See, your brain, that wiring that's going on says you're feeling a little anxious. You may not even recognize it, and you need to reduce that anxiety by eating. That's what your brain wants. Your brain already wants you to go eat. And so if you have just the flash thought, I'm going to start this therapy, your brain will go, nope, that's more stress because it's not getting what it wants. And it will double down and say, no, you got to go eat. So just calm down and go, okay, well, I can eat later if I still want it. If I still want it, I can do that. But right now, I just want that eat. Yeah, I recognize that I want to eat. And I'm already full, though. I can feel how full my stomach is. So I really don't need it. I'm not really hungry. I'm just anxious a little bit. Don't even know why I'm anxious. Or I do. I got into a big fight with, that one over there. And so I'm, stressed and I need to eat. No, I'm full. I don't need to eat. I'm just stressed. And so the stress is making me anxious. And I want to eat right now, but I don't need to eat. I want to eat, and you do that for a minute. And as you're doing that, you're calming your brain down. And the brain, because it is so very brilliant, it will recognize that, and this is all at the subconscious level, but it will recognize that, I'm getting relief. I'm getting relief from that anxiety. I'm getting what I need. I'm getting to a place of safety. Again, this is subconscious, right? So if this has been helpful, understand what we're talking about here. So let's kind of recap and put it all together. If you are already full, but have some signal that's going on that says, hey, you should eat more. Go for that piece of pie. Get up and get some ice cream. Have that salty snack, whatever that is. But you're full. In fact, you may be overfull. Start doing this very specific havening touch. It's called immediate havening. Immediate havening. So you're havening on the desire to eat when you're already full. You start the havening touch. The havening touch creates the delta wave in the brain. As you do that, you focus, intently focus on, I feel a lot of anxiety or just a little bit of maybe a little anxiousness, just a touch there, and it's making me want to go eat. That anxiety, yeah, I want to go eat, or I got to eat. Whichever it is, pay attention to it, really focus on it, and do the havening touch. Continue to do that touch for 3 or 4 minutes, and it can kind of depend on how strong the feeling is. And Stronger feeling, stay with it a little bit longer. All right. So as you do that, things calm down. Give yourself a couple of minutes. Check in. Hey, did that relax? If it starts coming back 10 minutes later, 20 minutes later, give it another minute or two. Give yourself the freedom of rewiring that part of your brain. This does not take care of the permanent wiring. It doesn't. It calms things down and gets you through the moment. The permanent wiring is bigger, stronger, more powerful, and you do need to work with a therapist on that. So if this has been helpful, please do me a favor, pass this channel along to someone who you think can benefit from this type of help. It's personal referrals that help this channel grow. Thank you for watching.